as soon as the situation becomes desperate, and they're saying probably another 10 to 15 days, there's going to be a riot, and this is when Operation Chariot will kick in. And we are looking at a potential another Rwanda, where in one day, just hundreds and thousands of people just get wiped out because they are a certain ethnicity or a certain language, and that's why I'm on your show.
In this interview with Brendy Wells, they're using the coronavirus in South Africa as a reason to militarize the streets, and high-ranking members of the military there say they will enforce any order they're given. So before we begin, just a quick word from... Let me ask you about these SVDM clips you sent me. There's 6 of them. Are there a few of those sound bites you want me to play?
Yes, you can play 1 and 2 maybe. This is Storbeck-Venter. That's what the SVDM stands for, and he is the leader of the South African Conservative Party, and he just, that was his commentary the day that he read about Operation Chariot.
Okay, here's SVDM 1.
Thank you, Brandy, for your inquiry relating to troop movements inside South Africa. Yes, it's indeed official at this point in time. It has been published. There's certain orders and instructions clearly published that indicate that certain units will be deployed across the country, and more so in Gauteng province, being the largest province and also the most populous province in South Africa. The operations are called Operation Prosper and Operation Chariot. Those are the 2 designations. Exactly what the army is supposed to do is quite unclear at this point in time. One would suppose it's simply to protect citizens and businesses and houses and so forth. However, one of the generals of the Defence Force came out today in the media to say that they will follow any orders given to them. The implication is very clear what that means. And secondly, he said that they will move in and they will skop and donder. It's Afrikaans, simply meaning that they will kick around and assault whoever comes in their way. Now, we are not dealing here with a war situation. We're dealing here with sick people, supposedly sick people, and a spreading virus. We're not dealing with a war. We're not dealing with an invasion. So why would the general go in and say things like that? It's very heavy-handed. It's very unnecessary to my mind. About the troop movements themselves, it seems as if they've been deployed in Gauteng province, especially in the northern parts of Johannesburg city. Johannesburg being the biggest city in South Africa, Sandton the richest city in South Africa and also the world. Just hold a moment, new voice note.
So he mentioned scope and donner. You sent me an MP4. I'll play that in a second. But isn't it interesting that this coronavirus is now providing excuses for governments around the world to do whatever the hell they want?
Exactly, and it's happening all over the world. Skop en donder is actually, it's Afrikaans for kick and assault. So this little clip is a general saying this on national television, is that we don't get our order. I mean, we don't do what we want. We get our orders. Listen.
And we do not deploy ourselves. We are ordered. And then when we are ordered to do something, we will never refuse. If I may repeat what I said in November, that, when we come in, we scope and donor.
Well, yeah, this is the people to supposedly take care of sick people and keep the peace, but they're going to do with a communist takeover, and that is what they've done. Nelson Mandela, the first thing he did is he literally released all the people from prison, and they've taken over the roads, the schools, the hospitals, and 25 years later, it is all ruined. So, but what I want to be talking to you about today is Operation Chariot and what has happened in the coronavirus lockdown and how they are stepping it up to the next level. So basically, when Cyril Ramaphosa, who is now the president of South Africa, when the ANC became the leading party in South Africa, he said that what they were going to do with the white people is like boiling frogs, and they will exterminate them eventually completely, but they won't know it. They won't know it until it's too late. And in the last 25 years, thousands and thousands and thousands of white farmers have been slaughtered, murdered, tortured, killed. And it's not just on the farms. If you are white, you have a target on your back. So what it looks like right now at this point is pretty much the word uhuru. I don't know if that means we are not free yet. In an African language, I think it's Zulu or Xhosa. But they sing a song about uhuru, and the lore about it is that there's going to be one night where they're going to go out and go into every single white person's house and kill them, like a genocide. Now, a lot of people say that is propaganda. A lot of people say that it's just a story. But I have voice clips here of somebody that lives in the township that says, no, it's not propaganda. That's what we talk about. We sing songs about it. We're waiting for that day. So this is why I'm on your show, because this is what I want to show. And if there's a document, can I share my screen quickly?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there's a document that the government of South Africa released the day of the lockdown, and that is where they announce that they are going to shut down the country completely, and they are calling up the infantry, military. So the situation, they just explain here what they're going to do. You can see it was on the 22nd of March, and they just say, okay, we're going to go into lockdown. SANDF is the South African National Defence Force, and they're saying which people or which SAI is South African infantry, which battalion is going to be deployed in which areas. And I don't want to read through the whole thing because it's going to take time. But as you see, they're calling it Operation Chariot. So that kind of caught my eye, and I wondered, what on earth does that mean? So then I looked into Operation Chariot. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I looked into Operation Chariot, and it is actually an operation that was that happened in Germany during the Second World War, where they took out all these racists, you know. So in South Africa, the white people you're just racist. You're just a racist because you're white. I mean, whether or not you are, in fact, a racist is irrelevant. But we're not, you know. We just normal people like everybody else. You know, we want to just grow our food and live our lives and raise our children. We really have no beef with anyone, and never really had. But that wasn't the propaganda that went into the world. So basically what has happened as a result is that I just need to get to my little file here so I can open this link for you. But I sent the information to a CIA analyst, and I asked him, what do you think this means? Because it's pretty weird that they would call it after an operation that was exercised by Germany in the Second World War, and a lot of people died as a result. So this is exactly what he said to me, and he asked me not to actually reveal his identity. But this is really why I came onto your show, and it's shocking that your own government wants to kill you. I mean, the previous president of South Africa sang songs about how they're going to kill the farmer, kill the Boer, and that cabinet is going to hit us with a machine gun. There's buses being branded, your land or your life, land or death. I mean, and openly threaten us like that. But this is the words that came from the CIA analyst. He says, Operation Chariot took out a strategically critical Nazi, the racist analog, you can see that it's there, infrastructure required for Germany to project power from their relatively secure embattlement during a time of war against a power inferior opponent in a limited time frame. Deploying an explosive, and in this case, virus-laden battleship, and then in brackets again, force projection, they were able to defeat the seemingly invincible defensive battlement and defeat the racists. Decode, and this is what he wrote, the South African aid mercenaries intend to exploit their virulence in the cloister Afrikaans defenses and let the virus do what they could not do through employment of arms. So the clips that I sent you, that is called Sipho, he is a black, that the food and aid that they will need to survive are in the white people's houses. So
oh God.
He is saying that it is definitely political, it is definitely a racial thing, and if they do it this way and the people go in, steal all the stuff and kill whomever's in those homes, then the government of South Africa can simply, pull up their shoulders and say, yeah, well, there was a lockdown and there was unrest, and they don't have to take accountability for what they are planning. And I just wanted to come and say there's definitely, how symbolism is, they always say what they're going to do, and just the mere fact that they called this Operation Chariot is a reason to be extremely concerned and keep an eye on it. And that's what I want to say about that.
Yeah.
Under the cover of darkness. This is a dream I had on the 8th of December 2019. This dream and commentary, along with the insights I have had, not to cause a panic ever before. Let me get back to the dream. I dream I am traveling on an underground train station, a subway as they call them in the West. This is a triple-decker subway train. It has 3 decks on it. Each level of the deck has sliding doors, which are motion-sensor doors. I am on the top level of this underground train traveling, and I can see in the cabin of this upper deck, but outside of the train in the underground it is pitch black, but every so many meters or so many minutes traveling in the underground, a light is on the wall. I travel from the 3rd deck walking to the sliding door, then I walk downstairs. I get to the 2nd level of this deck of this traveling train and it is pitch black. I stop to look into this 2nd deck of this train but cannot see anything. I then move closer to the glass door, but it does not open. It is at this stage that the train passes a light on the underground station, and I can now see what is in this 2nd carriage of this 2nd level of the deck. It is at this moment I feel my spirit move and a fear comes over me. I am staring into this carriage, and staring back at me is an entire level on this train of black soldiers staring back at me. They are all dressed in a blue uniform, all of them have automatic weapons. They are soldiers being transported in the dark. I see them so clearly that if I am with a profiler I can get the faces drawn. I see them stare back at me, and it is at this moment I go cold and feel my spirit move. The 3rd soldier I saw on the left-hand side, all the soldiers were black in this carriage on this underground train. The 3rd soldier I saw on the left-hand side had braids. I saw the faces so clearly a profiler could easily draw them from my descriptions. The blue uniforms looked like South Africa police services. And this brings me will be leading the revolution and the soldiers for the whites. That is it, my brothers and sisters. I only figured out who these people were while writing this. The communists have moved the revolutionaries, the well-trained revolutionaries, into the police force right under our noses during all this chaos, and we will not know nor can see it. This is war. War is all about deception. Psychologically you don't want to shoot a policeman, and at the same time if you move your soldiers in great numbers during a time of orchestrated crisis, no one will see it. During these blackouts, the unions, the strikers are going to cause chaos. The result will be the ANC plus the communists are going to move a hell of a lot of police into the Johannesburg area, and it is during this time. Whites will think the police are coming in to protect them when in fact they are soldiers, the soldiers used in that night attack. Sorry, but don't shoot the messenger. As I was told to write, I write. I don't write to win awards. I don't